We have fantasy sequels. We have a new Grady Hendrix coming out. Sign me up, you know? We'll have a new Talia Hibbert book. We have a new V.E. Schwab, R.F. Kuang, a new Hunger Games book. So, you know, everything that you can imagine. And also, buckle up, people, because we are going to the Olympics with Ali Hazelwood. Hi, guys. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Zsuzsi. And in today's video, as you've already seen the thumbnail and probably read the title of the video, we will be discussing some 2025 new releases that I am really interested in. And I know what you think. Zsuzsi, this is the summer. Like, why are we talking about 2025? And you're kind of right. Like, you're right, I get it. But on the other hand, there are so many 2025 new releases that have been announced, and not just announced, but we already have the covers and we already have the release dates. And some of these books, well, not all of them, but some of them I have already pre-ordered. But before we get to the 2025 new releases, I really want to know your opinion about something. Like, what is happening to this Sangu Mandana book? Because this book was supposed to get released in 2024, like in the spring, and I pre-ordered it. It never got released, and then they were like, oh, it's coming out in the summer. Never happened. Then they postponed it again and said that it was gonna come out in October, September, I think, whatever, like sometime during the fall. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense because it's like a witchy book, and you know, like release it in the fall. And then they postponed it again, and now apparently it is coming out on December 24th, but I don't think so. So honestly, I think that we have to keep an eye on this book because this is gonna come out in 2025. And honestly, I cannot wait. I mean, a fox is a main character in this book, so sign me up. Anyways, now to the actual 2025 list. And the very first book on the list is Four Ruined Realms. And this is coming out on January 7th. And this is the second book or the sequel to Five Broken Blades. And if you watch my reading vlog, then you know that I did not really like Five Broken Blades. I really loved the beginning, and I really liked I tolerated, I should say, the ending, but I didn't like the middle of the book. But because I am a completionist, I always struggle with this. When I start a series, I kind of feel that I have to finish the series. So this book, it stays on my list, it is on my radar, but whether I pick it up in January or not, well, that's a good question. But for those of you who loved Five Broken Blades, there you go. Here is the sequel coming out on January 7th. And the next book, and this is something that I am so interested in, it is the newest Grady Hendrix book, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and this is coming out on January 14th. He always releases his books in January, so, you know, at least we have something to look forward to in January, because otherwise that month is tough. And this is, of course, a Grady Hendrix style horror, gothic horror. And this is something that takes place in Florida in the 1970s. And I just love when Grady Hendrix does that, when he takes us back into the 70s and 80s and 90s. Like, honestly, I'm a sucker for that. And apparently this book, the description is very, very vague. Vague, I should say little, because it was basically a sentence. But then this book follows a group of young women, I don't know what that means, possibly teenagers, who are unwed mothers, and they just go to this house where they discover witchcraft. Sign me up. Sign me up. I really like Grady Hendrix. He's one of those rare male authors who can write female characters. And also, I really like how feminist his books are. And he's one of those, like, you know, rare male authors who can actually discuss feminism in their books. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love him. I love his books, and I cannot wait for his newest release. And the next book on the list is an Alice Finney book that is coming out on January 14th, and this is Beautiful Ugly. And I've read a couple of books by Alice Finney, and honestly, I like them. So if I ever want to read a mystery or a thriller, I think that she is a very safe bet for me. And the description of this book, it sounds like so good, so interesting, because this book is basically about an author. I believe his name is Arthur. Wait, I gotta check that. No, it's not Arthur. No, it's not. It's Grady. But he is an author in the book. And apparently, he gets a publishing deal. And he calls his wife to share the exciting news. And his wife is in her car, like driving home or whatever. And then he hears her like stopping and getting out of the car. And then everything is just like, you know, it all goes blank, just nothing. And then she disappears. And they find her car at a cliffside, but nobody knows where Abby, his wife, is. And he's grieving because they think that, you know, she died. And then after like a year or something, he goes to a Scottish village because he needs to recover and, like, you know, he needs to also finish his publishing deal. And then in that Scottish town, he sees someone who looks like his wife. Now, besides the premise being super interesting, you guys also know that I am a sucker for anything Scottish, and I will probably try the audiobook hoping that I will get some Scottish accent somewhere in that audiobook. I'm not sure. Any book that takes me to Scotland, I will probably read it. Okay, the next book, for those of you fantasy romance girlies who really like this series, Rebecca Yarros is publishing the third book in the Fourth Wing series, and I think it's called Onyx Storm, and it's coming out on January 21st. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have not yet decided whether I want to read this book or not. I liked Fourth Wing, mostly because of the dragons, right? Iron Flame was fine, but it's like not, like, it's not a series that I need to keep up with. And also, I am not really sure whether I want to support Rebecca Yarros or not. I don't know what I am going to do, but I just wanted to put this book out there. If you are interested in it, it is coming out on January 21st. You guys let me know whether you want to read it or not and what are your expectations. Maybe one day when the series is finished, because it's apparently like 5 books, maybe when it's finished, I will pick it up. But because I'm not having a really good time with the books, I think that they are kind of just average. The Fourth Wing was better than Iron Flame. Anyways, and because I don't necessarily want to support the author, I don't know where to put this book. You guys let me know how you think about it and what are your plans when it comes to this Fourth Wing series. I don't know the official name for the series. Okay, the next book. Now, 2025 would not be 2025 without an Ellie Hazelwood book, right? And there is a new book coming out from her titled Deep End, and it is coming out on February 4th. Sorry guys, the light is like going in and out because there is a huge summer storm going outside. So yeah, that's what's happening. So back to the Ellie Hazelwood book. It is coming out on February 4th, and this is in the sports romance genre, because Ellie Hazelwood, she has to try everything, right? She started with feminist fiction, like she's also writing like paranormal romance, and then also like YA romance, and now sports romance. Like she's just like she's into everything, or her publisher or her editor, I should say, because apparently, allegedly, I don't know, because I have not really done a proper research on this, but the internet is like full with information saying that it's not really her, but her editor who's actually coming up with the ideas and the plots, and then Ellie Hazelwood is the one who writes the text. I don't know, don't come after me if you adore Ellie Hazelwood. This is just something that I heard on the internet, okay? And this book is gonna be, of course, a super, super, super steamy romance between a professional diver who is like a junior at Stanford, and also between a swimmer or a swimmer like captain. And apparently it's like a forbidden love affair. And yeah, the one thing that is always so hard for me to handle when it comes to Ellie Hazelwood books is like the power dynamics. And like we always have to make something work between juniors and seniors, and they always like work together. So it's not enough that they are in a work relationship, they are also in a romantic relationship. And there is also age difference, and then there is also like difference in like power dynamics. And this is just something that's like, and I'm guessing that she's petite and he's huge, right? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. This is something that I am not going to pick up on the release date. I am going to wait until a couple of reviews come out, and then I decide about it. You guys let me know what you think of this book and whether you want to pick it up or not. The next book, however, and I am definitely picking this book up, that is the third Emily Wilde book, Compendium of Lost Tales, and this is something that's coming out on February 11th, and this is the third and final book in the Emily Wilde trilogy, and I cannot wait because I love Emily and I love Wendell. Now, if you are interested in the first book and the second book, then please just like skip this part of the video, because what I am about to say is actually going to spoil the first two books. So in like 3, 2, 1, skip, okay? But so Emily, our what is she? Dryadologist? And this is how you know that I did my research for this video, because like in normal circumstances, I would not know that word. Yeah. So Emily and Wendell, they go into the fairy realm, right? To be like king and queen. But it turns out that Wendell's stepmother, she cursed the land. And basically, Wendell and Emily, they have to work together again to save the fairy realm. I love them. I love them. I cannot wait for this book. And the next book on my list is actually a fantasy romance book, Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. And this is coming out on March 4th. And honestly, the description for this book sounds so good. And let me read you this one sentence from Goodreads, because I think it like sums up this book perfectly. So Goodreads says that The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, hello, meets This Is How You Lose the Time War in this fantastical love story that defies death as two souls reincarnate through the centuries. They loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every single one. That's so good. So our main character is Evelyn, and why did I say it like that? Evelyn. And Evelyn, she remembers her past lives, every single one of them. And she knows that in every single one of her lives, before she turns 18, somebody called Arden, who is a supernatural being, he kills her. And in her current life, she actually cannot die because she is the bone marrow donor for her sister who would otherwise die without her. So she's like, I cannot die. So in this life, I have to figure out who Arden is. Why does he want to kill me? And most importantly, she cannot fall in love with him. Of course she cannot, but of course she will. And the next book, guys, Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed, and this is also something that's coming out on March 4th. This is crazy. This is crazy. Goodreads describes this book as a combination of The Hunger Games with The Last of Us. So you know that this book is gonna be crazy. So there is this corporate called Cirrus. I am not sure how to pronounce that word, but it's a corporate that is encouraging very poor people to accumulate death. No, depth, I'm sorry. And that is exactly what happened to Inesa's, our main character's mother, who accumulated a lot of debt. And unbeknown to Inesa, this actually qualifies like her mother to sell her for a live stream assassination performed by this corporation. So I'm guessing that this is where we get the Hunger Games elements. And the actual assassin who should kill Inesa, or at least hunt her down or whatever, is called Meline. I cannot pronounce anything in this description. And apparently, as they are like running through the wastelands, whatever, they are both starting to question the society that they live in. I mean, come on, doesn't this sound good to you? And as far as we are talking about Hunger Games, you guys know which book is the next on my list. Sunrise on the Reaping. And this is coming out on March 18th. And this is, as we all know, is a prequel to the Hunger Games. The ultimate dystopian YA fantasy. Nobody else can compete. The next book on my list is, oh my god, guys, look at this cover. Look at this cover. You look at that cover and you know exactly why I put it on my list. But this is Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. And this is coming out on April 22nd. And this is a horror. Horror fantasy? No, it's just horror. So our main character in this book is Shell. And Shell, well, she's going through a tough period in her life. She lost her job, she lost her apartment, and then she also lost her partner, and she's like, not doing that great. And then she sees a job advertisement for a florist position, or to be the assistant for a florist called Neve. And she just takes the job. And after she takes the job, she realizes that there is this orchid called Baby. I love it. I'm gonna name one of my plants Baby now. Anyways, so there is this orchid. And this orchid is super, super, super jealous because Neve, the florist, belongs to him. And he will do anything to own her. Are we getting the Little Shop of Horrors vibe here? Put it on my list, put it on my list. It sounds like a book to me. And the next book on my list is Cutabbas by R.F. Kuang. And this is coming out the end of summer, August 28th, 2025. And this is the newest fantasy from her that was inspired by ancient Greece, and apparently it's like everything. It's adult fantasy with a little bit of romance and also historical elements. So again, this is a bookworm, and apparently Cutabbas means a hero's descent to the underworld. It doesn't make much sense to me just yet. And in this book, two academic rivals from Cambridge. So, hello. Two academic rivals from Cambridge. They have to go to hell, to the underworld, to save their advisors. And apparently, this is what the premise says, getting there was easy. But then surviving hell, surviving each other, and then getting out of hell. Now that's gonna be a big job. And this is all I know about this book, but honestly, R.F. Kuang wowed me with Fable. So if it is anything like Fable, I mean, come on. The next book on my list is a Victoria Schwab book, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and this is coming out on June 10th. And this book is adult fantasy with vampires and historical elements. taking place in Boston. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This book is going on my list. There are actually 3 times and locations in this book, and I have to read that up to you because I'm not going to remember this. One of them is Santo Domingo, 1532, London in the 1800s, and then Boston in 2019. And this book follows 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, and one grows deep, and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. Okay. The next book is Sky Brier by Talia Hibbert, and this is coming out on August 15th. And apparently Talia Hibbert is starting a new romance series, and this book is the first book in that series, where she gives a modern day reimagination to Jane Austen classics. Okay, hello, sign me up. And then the last book on my list is Savage Blooms by S.T. Gibson, and this is coming out on October 9th. And I did not take any notes. So we will have to look it up on my phone, actually, what this book is about. I don't know why I didn't take any notes. Maybe I didn't find any information about the book. Okay, there is not much information about this book. Okay, so it's a Cruel Prince versus Wuthering Heights queer gothic romance featuring hot, evil, kinky fairies. Okay. And apparently this book is really spicy, and it also features ominous crumbling buildings. And there is somebody who said, like, thank you, mother, we are fed. Wow, okay, now I am definitely looking forward to this book. I mean, what? Hot, evil, kinky fairies? Okay guys, this is it. This is the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed spending some time with me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Definitely let me know in the comments below whether, like, you know, you want to read any of these books. And of course, definitely let me know if I missed something. If there is a super famous, like, 2025 new release that is coming out and I just simply don't know about it. Honestly guys, because I know that many of you will say, oh, ACOTAR 5. And I am looking forward to ACOTAR 5, but it's not announced yet. We have no idea if this is coming out in 2025 or not. I kind of hope that Sarah J. Maas will take her time with that book, and I don't necessarily want her to publish it in 2025 unless it is ready, okay? But I am certainly ready for ACOTAR 5 as well, but I have no information. At the time of filming this video, I have no information about ACOTAR 5. Now hit share, like, and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already done so, you are welcome here. I have a lot of fun bookish videos coming up in the summer and for the rest of the year. And if you, in the meantime, want to check out any of my other videos, I will leave them on the screen, probably here and here. And I'll see you soon in another video. Bye!